Wait, wow.
And
Yeah!
hi!
Everybody,
Yay! Hello!
we're here in the presence of a minor deity. Wait, nag-fangirl ako kanina pa.
No!
Nag-fangirl kami ako kanina pa. I almost forgot to turn on the light.
Frankie!
We're here with Doc Erin, aka the
Hello!
Nerdy
Thank
Derma,
you!
aka my
Thank you
favorite,
for having me!
literally my favorite doctor, influencer, social media personality, favorite ever person ko. Before we get started, I'll let you all, like, I can feel, Doc Erin, do you hear that? That's the screams of 10,000 fangirls. I can feel them.
Medyo gumanon ako eh, no?
Feel ko siya. Parang I feel in my soul, ang dami ko freak out ngayon because it's the Nerdy Derma, guys. Oh my gosh.
Oh my, no! Oo.
Before we start, I told Doc Erin I had to do this. I have to say that everything Doc Erin is not officially affiliated with Ellana. So we asked her to do this talk, but she's not like the in-house derm of Ellana. She's not associated. It's not an endorsement in any way, shape, or form. So whatever she talks about here, it's going to be from her experience as a derma. We are not controlling the script or whatever. And in fact,
Wala.
I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn. So there is no script. It's alive, guys. So that's a disclaimer. So she talks about things. If you want to ask her more skincare questions, you can go to her directly. You guys know where to find her. If you don't know how to find the Nerdy Derma, I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's at the Nerdy Derma everywhere. Guys, you should be following her, should be reading her advice, should be following the advice, or I'll be very angry at you because I follow her advice. A lot.
Thank you, Frankie.
Religious. So that being said, welcome, Doc Erin.
Thank you so much, Frankie, for the very warm welcome. So happy to be here.
So excited to have you on the show. So welcome to Ask Ellana. We hope that you can feel the love. How things will work, I will be reading. You were actually sent a lot of questions in advance by the fans, so we did actually collect your
Mm-hmm.
questions in here, guys. But you also have fans will also have the opportunity to ask you questions during this live. I will read them. So think of me as like I tell everyone this, all my guests this. Think of it as bahay ni Kuya. Ako si Kuya. Lol. So I'll read your
Okay.
questions, and of course, at the end of the live, two people, one on Facebook, one on Instagram, will get GCs from Ellana that you can use at our sale that's ongoing until
Wow.
April 1. Sinabi ko, August 1. July na. July na.
Next year.
Okay. So, wow, the Twitter picture ko, oh my God, Twitter represent. Oh my God,
Yay!
they're coming out the
Hello.
door with like CC Younglin just coming out the door hitting hard with, hi Doc, what are your thoughts on doxycycline? Wow! If that's the kind of topic I would
Agad-agad. No?
Then
Hardcore agad.
YouTube, Instagram, we're also watching you guys, so please make sure to ask questions. Otherwise, I'll be very, very sad kasi nahirapan kami mag-connect ng Instagram. So please. All right. So, Doc Erin, let's get started. First things first, maybe you can introduce yourself because we all know you as the Nerdy Derma, but maybe a little bit of information about what your specialty is because it's
Mhm.
it's a medical discipline. So we'd like to know a little bit more about it.
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Erin Tababa Santos. So, I'm a dermatologist na more on the medical side of things. So, my subspecialty is dermatopathology. So, before we go there, what's dermatology? So, first, hindi lang siya skin. Hindi lang siya all about beautifying. It's also the science of taking care of not only the skin, but also your nails at saka hair. So my subspecialty is dermatopathology. So basically, a lot of skin conditions look alike. And even dermatologists have problems distinguishing one from the other. So our role as dermatopathologists is our colleagues, they take a biopsy and then we look at it under the microscope. So we help guide our fellow dermas on what the disease condition is and then subsequently what's the appropriate treatment. So
Oh
yun.
wow,
And
it's like
then
a
yun.
it's like Doctor House, but like Derma. I love it.
I wish ganun ka-glamorous, pero it's just like sitting down on the microscope and
So
looking at skin cells.
I actually I learned about pathology because I was before the
Hmm.
pandemic. I was actually in a Starbucks and there was a pathologist there. Though he was an that's the one for cancer. He was the one for cancer.
Oncologist,
He was an
oncologist. Ah,
oncopathologist. So he was specifically looking for
oncopathologist.
cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and he had the microscope and the slides like in
Nandun
Starbucks.
siya sa Starbucks.
Yeah, sa
Asipag
Starbucks ang
naman.
desk. Like,
Medyo
everything
mabigat yun.
walang break. Because yeah, so basically what you guys do, what you actually investigate what's wrong with the skin based
Yes,
on
yes.
like science and not on
Mm-hmm.
random stuff you can see on the internet. Because as you guys know, that's why is that why you started the Nerdy Derma? Because you saw all the crazy information on the internet. Is that why you started
Yeah,
it?
actually, nag-start siya 3 years ago, July 2017, when there was this strong movement sa Facebook yata yun na parang no to moisturizer use.
Oh
Tapos
my god!
lahat ng training ko during residency, ako parang, what? Tapos, yun, point by point rebuttal lang para, kasi the person who said it was really prominent and for me, parang I felt it was my role to explain parang why dapat hindi sundin yun. So why moisturizers are good. So yun yung first ever kung bakit nag-start ang the Nerdy Derma.
And so just to jump on that, conclusively, though, I think it's gonna be the first question we throw at you today. Conclusively, let's answer this now. Do people with oily skin have to use moisturizer? Because that's a question we get all the time with Ellana. Kailangan mo moisturizer araw-araw? Kailangan mo
Ah,
kailangan ba?
sige. So, do people with oily skin have to use moisturizer? Magalit kasi sagot ko. Ang sagot ko is, it depends.
Okay.
Kasi, for example, you have oily skin but you're on acne medication. So, acne medications tend to dry out the skin. So, you need the moisturizer to help you tolerate better the acne meds. On the other hand, if you're super, super oily, a lot of time, ito pala, let's correct that notion kasi the oiliness of your skin
Mm-hmm.
is not equal to hydration of your skin. Kasi people think na if you're oily, automatically hydrated
Yeah,
ka na.
that's true. That's true.
Oo. So,
Yeah.
in actuality, oiliness is different from hydration. So, ang technique natin, ang Filipinas kasi usually T-zone lang yung oily eh. So, tapos dito sa area na to, it
Yes,
gets
around the
really
mouth.
dry.
Yeah,
Oo. So,
it's pretty
if you
flaky.
have oily skin, ang suggestion would be just moisturize dun sa affected areas. Tapos, leave the T-zone na
Mhm.
kahit hindi mo na-moisturize. So, yun. Ang hirap no, it depends.
No,
Not
I think
very
it's a good,
satisfactory.
no, I think it's a good thing. Like I want people need to know
Oo.
that skin, and like, we've talked about it also in previous lives, na skincare isn't a one size fits all, and
Yes.
you don't just slap everything on your face and call it a day, right? You have to be
Mm.
smart about using it. One thing that we also get a lot, and this is something that this is going to be might sound super simple, but how do you know your skin type? Because some people say that you always have the same skin type. Some people say, but wait, your
Mhm.
skin type can change from time to time. So
Mhm.
how can you definitely tell what is my skin type? What kind of skin
Ah.
do I have?
So, yung skin type, I think maraming categories eh. Pero, for example, sa amin as terms, very helpful yung, ano nga bang term yun eh? Basta, meron siyang 4 categories. So,
Okay.
first would be yung oily versus dry.
Mhm,
Tapos, yung sensitive versus resistant.
mhm,
Pigmented versus non-pigmented. And then, wrinkled versus tight.
mhm.
So there are 4 categories, and then you can mix and match the four. So for example, sa Filipinas, usually we have the oily, the
Mhm.
pigmented, the resistant, and the tight skin, especially if yung younger age. So you have specific products na good for that kind of combination. On the other hand, for example, Caucasians na around, sabihin mo mga 40 years old, their skin type would be dry, sensitive, non-pigmented, and then wrinkled kasi around that age. So, that part naman, ibang kind ng products ang gagamitin mo. Usually kasi when people say skin type, na-associate nila yun yung versus yung dry, oily combination, di ba?
Yeah.
So, sa totoo, that's just one category dun sa 4 types
Oh,
ng
wow.
features ng skin. Oo.
Guys, I hope you guys are taking notes because seriously, like my mind is like exploding. You can't see me, but you can imagine me. I'm the mind blown emoji, with the atomic clouds of that's my brain. That like
Hanapin ko yung name. Teka, I have to find the name.
okay. While
Resistant
we're doing
skin
that, I am
types.
going to review the insane, extremely intelligent questions we're getting right now, guys. There's so many.
I'm scared.
Why are you scared? I mean, okay, we'll start with this one from Mark Lawrence. It was just one I need to ask because a lot of people have gotten pandemic
Masking?
caused pandemic-induced insomnia. So a lot of people are experiencing
Ah,
anxiety, it's
insomnia.
causing insomnia.
Mm-mm.
So his question is, Doc, will sleeping super late affect my skin
Mm-hmm.
bad? Or how will sleeping late affect my skin? So this is Mark Lawrence coming in with
Oo.
attacks. Ouch. Ako to eh.
Hi,
Ay,
Mark! Oh, ano talaga, nakaka-cause ng insomnia, gawa ng anxiety, no? So, for that one, ang problem is walang hard science. So, if you want yung talagang evidence-based, kailangan kong mag-research into it more. But an educated explanation for it would be, it depends yung puyat mo. Kasi pwede kang puyat gawa stressed ka. So, katulad nitong COVID pandemic. So, lahat ng stress natin about yung current events. Stress causes your body to produce yung stress hormone. So, yung stress hormone, it triggers production of oil. So, when you produce the oil, yes, of course, you can develop breakouts. On the other hand, puyat ka kasi nag-Netflix ka, kasama mo yung family mo, kwentuhan kayo, masaya kayo. I don't think you would have the same amount of stress hormone as compared to yung halimbawa insomnia from yung anxiety. So in that scenario, I don't think automatically mag-breakout ka.
okay,
So
well,
I hope that makes sense.
that is interesting. So, is it? I've always heard that people break out because of stress. Is it better to
Mhm.
understand that that's because of the of cortisol? Cortisol makes you break out more.
Yeah, not, paano kaya? It's a risk factor. So hindi siya automatic
Oh,
na pag stressed ka, next day meron ka na agad breakouts. Pero
mm,
when you have cortisol, it predisposes your skin into yung situation niya na mas prone siyang magkaroon ng acne.
okay. That's interesting because
Oo.
I think a lot of people have been reporting na, I've not changed my routine, nothing's changed, but I'm getting more breakouts. So it might be a cause. It might
Mm-mm.
just be because a lot of people are experiencing more pandemic stress. I mean, even me,
Oo.
and I do fit in the category now of not, I used to get a lot of breakouts. I don't anymore, but
Yes.
even me, I've been getting more, and that might be why, because of cortisol. This is interesting.
Mm.
Speaking of
Tapos not
breakouts,
to mention yung Frankie, yung
oh,
ano
yung
natin,
mask.
the mask. Yes.
Oh, yes,
So,
mask.
can I explain quickly lang how acne
Yes,
forms?
please.
Kasi it's
Yes, please.
super helpful.
I was about to ask that actually because people don't know the difference between blackheads, whiteheads, and acne. So please tell us what acne is
Ah,
and how it forms.
sige. So, first muna, for you to treat acne, ito yung easiest way eh. Kailangan yung product mo na pang-treat ng acne, na-address niya at least isang step during the acne production process. So, yung four basic steps into acne formation is interplay siya. Of course, syempre may factors like genetics, kung predisposed kang magka-acne. Pero yung basic recipe for acne formation is number one, so yung pores mo, nagkakaroon siya ng block sa taas. So, yun yung tinatawag namin na epithelial hyperproliferation. Ibig sabihin, kumakapal lang yung skin cells over the pores. So, in effect, technically, yung pore mo, nababarhan siya. Teka, meron akong guys. Prepared ako. Pwede kong
Whiteboard!
gamitin.
I'm so excited.
Teka. So, first, ito. So, nagdo-draw ako. May colors pa ako para tayo,
Guys,
prepared.
everybody's like, oh my gosh, notice me, Doc Erin. Oh my gosh, I'm fine. Oh my,
So, yung ring light,
I
guys.
already
Okay, okay.
talaga siya. I'm
So,
really,
rinig niyo ba ako? Ayan. So, ito yung pore. Asan ba? Ang hirap ko sa direction. Yan. So, this is the pore.
Mhm.
Ito yung opening niya. And within the pore, you have your oil gland. And then you have your hair. So, how does acne form? So, the pore, it becomes covered with, ano ba to? Becomes covered with skin. So, actually, yun yung pwedeng first step. Tapos, oh no! Wait, what happened? Did I
nothing
lag?
happened. You're still there. You're still there.
I'm still there. Okay, okay.
Yes.
So, pag nag-cover up siya, next would be your oil gland. It still produces oil. So, naiipon siya dito sa loob. And
Okay.
then when it builds up inside, there's this little bacteria inside your pore. It's called yung QT bacterium. So, si QT bacterium, it feeds on the sebum, it feeds here. Tapos, so, maparami siyang food. Siyempre, mag increase sila dito sa loob. So, dadami sila dyan. So, eventually, it swells up kasi sebum builds up, the bacteria builds up, and then eventually, the pore explodes. So, it explodes. Ah, yan. So, when it explodes, the stuff inside, the bacteria, the dead skin, the oil, that's very irritating to your skin. So yung skin dito sa baba, this is what you call your dermis. So when this stuff goes outside, all the body soldiers, yung white blood cells natin, it tries to fight off the contents inside. So yun yung nakikita niya na or yung pustule na tinatawag natin.
Oh,
Mhm. So that's it. Now, how do blackheads and whiteheads
so
form?
it's like a
So
mini boil,
first,
like a
huh?
pimple.
Yes,
Pimple's like a
technically
mini.
yes. But the difference is boils are caused by a different type of bacteria. So si acne, very specific. It's the Cutibacterium.
So they're very cute
So
bacteria,
yes,
guys.
very
You
cute
know,
na not cute. Yun. So dito, so explain natin yung blackheads and whiteheads. So yung oil, first yung concept ng oil, when oil becomes exposed to air, it oxidizes and becomes dark.
mhm,
So when the pore is covered here,
mhm,
the oil produced inside is not exposed to air.
mhm.
So it doesn't turn black. So yun yung tinatawag natin na whitehead. That's the
Oh,
whitehead. Mm-hmm. But if the pore is open, yung oil inside, it's oxidized, and that's what you call the
black.
blackhead.
So this one is there's
Mm-mm.
no infection lang. There's nothing. The cutie bacteria have not exploded.
Mm-mm.
It's just
Yes, oo. So those are known as the non-inflammatory lesions of acne. So acne na sila.
mm-mm.
So meron siyang two types. So non-inflammatory, the blackheads and the whiteheads. And then once it becomes the nodule, the pustule, the cystic ones that we know, then that's the inflammatory form of acne. However, both of them are skin lesions that we see in acne.
Mm, I
Mm-mm.
see. So that explains a
Yun.
lot. And that means that you technically, even if they're both technically acne, you would
Mhm.
technically treat them in two different ways. Correct? Like you treat whiteheads and blackheads differently from acne?
Whiteheads and blackheads, yes, you have different approaches. Kasi if you have like whiteheads and blackheads, you can treat that with exfoliating products. For example, your AHAs, your PHAs, pwede mo rin silang i-extract if you want. On the other hand, the inflammatory lesions, we treat them with antibiotics, but it has to be time bound. Ibig sabihin, you restrict the amount of time that you give your patients antibiotics. Kasi if you go beyond that, nagiging resistant yung Cutibacterium and it
Oh,
doesn't work anymore.
get like Thanos level cutie bacteria. That's
Yeah.
scary. This is really
Yun.
sad because like, I've seen a lot of people. Like I'm sure not the only one who's seen people
Mm.
treating. They're at home. They're
Mhm.
my mom would tell me stories about this mixing what's that Dalasin C with a toner
Yes.
and put it at
Yes.
that not recommended.
No, no, dapat stop na nila yun. Oo.
Yay. You heard that from a doctor, guys. Please stop. Okay,
Stop.
we have a lot of questions. Speaking of building up of cutie bacterium, it looks like our questions
Mm.
are building up. I don't want people to explode. So I think our first question will be um wow, a lot of the questions pala are like, "Oh my God, I love you." Literally, a lot of them are, "Oh my God, I love you." So ito, "Hi Doc, what are the ingredients that we should look for?" This is from Diana K. Tiama Legaspi. "What are the ingredients we
Mm-mm.
should look for when finding a good product for treating pimples, scars, or dark spots?" So what are the ingredients that we
Ah,
should look for in terms of like
okay. So,
hyperpigmentation?
hyperpigmentation yung question niya, Frankie, or acne
There are two.
itself?
There's pimple scars, which is different from
Mm.
hyperpigmentation, and then dark spots, which I guess is hyperpigmentation. So those are two different things.
Okay, okay. Bagong ano yan, learning point. So,
Hmm.
patients come in saying that, Doktora, I have acne scars. So, you have to be specific kasi acne scars, tatlo yan tinutukoy nila. So, first is the red spot. That's officially called the post-inflammatory erythema.
Oh,
You
anything.
have the dark spot, which is the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. And then, ito yung pinakaiyaw natin, which is yung acne scars, yung atrophic scars, yun yung lubog-lubog.
Mm.
So, alin doon? So, sige, isa-isahin natin. If you're looking to treat your acne, I would strongly recommend na consult a board-certified dermatologist kasi walang over-the-counter product that uh, napapantay sa prescription-based na products like retinoids. So, for bang for the buck, the best pa rin talaga magpa-prescribe sa derma. On the other hand, if you have erythema, good products for that would be niacinamide. and vitamin C. So for for dark spots, it's the same. Vitamin C. Maraming options tayo for dark spots. However, ito yung big however. If you want your dark spots to lighten, you have to wear sunscreen.
Sunscreen!
Kasi Kasi if you just put whitening, parang yung skin mo kasi it protects you from sun exposure. So even if you whiten, and then you go out na parang, wow, sige araw, ganyan. Wala, makakancel nun yung effect ng whitening.
And that's actually tied into a question we have on Instagram, which is
Hmm.
Jayan Cherin, which is it okay not to wear sunscreen if I'm already one, wearing products with SPF, or two, just staying inside?
Sige,
Dito ako
so first,
napapakaway sa mga tao eh. This is the kind of question where I'm raging.
sige, so let's do it one by one. So first, if you're just staying inside, ito yung mga unsatisfying answers kasi case-to-case basis. So the answer is it depends.
Mm-mm.
So first, ano ba yung nakukuha mong sunlight if
Mm.
nasa loob ka ng house? So please follow one of my super idols, si Michelle. She's Lab Muffin, and Beauty
Oh,
Lab
yeah,
Muffin.
lab muffin,
Oo,
lab
so
muffin beauty
Lab
science.
Muffin Beauty, parang ganon. She has this post about sunscreen. So she explains that if you're 1 meter away from the window, you're just getting siguro 1 out of parang 3% total sunlight.
Mm-mm.
So, 3% total sunlight. So, isipin mo parang, okay, so, wag na lang ako mag-sunscreen. So, in that scenario, pwede naman. However, sa case kasi ng Filipinas, especially if acne prone ka, you're on acne medicine.
Mm-mm.
And you also have lesions on the face. So, if you want to have shorter duration of your dark spots, and then ayaw mo mag-photo age, di ba? Wala namang gustong tumanda agad. So, yun yung primary reasons kasi why I ask my patients to always wear sunscreen even inside their houses. Kasi gusto mo na mawala agad yung dark spots and gusto mo din i-avoid yung aging effects ng sunscreen. So, long answer short, I would recommend, yes, please keep wearing your sunscreen. Tapos, dun tayo sa next part,
Yay!
which is yung
I also
SPF. Ha? O yun,
SPF
sa
products.
SPF
SPF
products,
products.
oo, you still need to have your sunscreen. So ako stickler ako for moisturizer and sunscreen. Why? Kasi halimbawa, you have your SPF foundation, you have your SPF mascara, SPF eyeshadow, SPF lipstick. You need to have an even amount on the entire face and
Mm-mm.
then adequate amount, which is 2 milligrams per centimeter squared. So imagine mo, kung naka-foundation ka na, ang amount nun is 1 teaspoon eh. So, ilalagay mo yung foundation 1 teaspoon sa buong face. Masyado siyang heavy. So, ideally, meron ka na talaga yung sunscreen and then you just use your skincare, your beauty products just as beauty products.
I think
Mhm.
yung explain sa amin ni Teresa was that you use with this SPF in Ellana's makeup because it's used to help
Mhm.
touch up your sunscreen kasi ba sunscreen after a while it wears off.
Yes.
So it's used to
Yes.
help touch
Oo.
up your sunscreen pero dapat naka-sunscreen ka. Kaya you see me
Yes.
use Ellana sunscreen all the time because
Oo.
kahit may SPF yung makeup, yung sunscreen gamitin pa rin. So yeah guys.
Yes. Tapos
Ito ako
maganda yun
napapaawa sa
kung
tao.
patong-patong siya na naka-sunscreen ka tapos may SPF. That's even better.
Beat kasi ako napapaaway sa tao because they're just like, no, I don't need to wear SPF. I'm like, and then yung raging in the comments, naka-light on fire na ako. Also, is it true, kasi especially if you're using mga beauty lights, etc., they have UV, di ba? So parang, does that
Hmm.
count sun exposure or no? Like parang sun siya? Kasi I know
Ah,
that some beauty lights do have UV. Or like some
beauty
light
lights.
bulbs.
Ano yun? Hindi ako familiar sa kanya.
Di ba like, okay, so my light
Hmm.
bulb, for example,
Hmm.
um, the one I have here, I don't think that's an LED yet eh. Do they
Mm-mm.
have UV? Because I heard, parang I hear na parang diba, may blue light, may ganon. So is that also UV?
Mm-mm.
Should I be worried? Will my computer give me skin cancer?
Teka, off the top of my head, hindi ako sure kung may UV ang mga like house lights. However, ang common concern dyan is yung blue light.
Mm,
So, if you're concerned about blue light or having cancer from yung mga gadgets, I think the answer is no.
okay.
And then, plus also, Miss Michelle also said na parang the amount of light from the gadgets is negligible, na nothing to be
Okay, guys.
worried about.
So we don't have to panic. Everybody who's into
Oo.
like selfie lights, beauty
Yes,
lights, ring
yes.
lights of special, you're fine.
Okay lang
Just
yun.
social distancing from the sun. I always say this, social distancing from, I hate the sun. Okay, me and the sun are, I have giant hats. I'm like, no!
Parang mga derma yata, ano din, averse sa sun.
Sabi ko, vampira mo natin. Meron ako, like, I have a giant hat and then I have gloves. Like, no joke. I have a photo. I will show it to you later. So, next question, aside from, or ang dami natin na ano. Does your diet affect your skin? From Mary Jasmine Villafuerte. Does actually what we consume affect what our face does?
Yeah, so common misconception sa Pinoy is yung mga oily food like peanuts,
Yeah,
o mga ayun, basta mga deep fried na stuff. So just go back dun sa pathophysiology ng acne. Yung food na oily na kinain mo, there's no way na makakarating siya dun sa pores. Kasi di ba, the pores, ang ano mo lang is
that
yung sebaceous gland, the oil gland. That's the only one that produces it. However, there is an increased risk for more severe acne if you take food which is high in sugar and high in dairy.
mm.
So, ang classic example ko would be milk tea. So if mahilig ka sa
Mhm.
milk tea tapos you break out, I suggest na you limit it both for cosmetic purposes and health purposes to at most once a week, kung kaya, once a month.
Guys,
So,
guys
yun.
can be the lesson on the milk tea. Although I'm a purist. I'm a purist. I drink my tea with no milk, no sugar. It's just black, like my
Just tea lang.
just tea.
What?
Well, I'm Chinese Filipino. This is not. This is like my breast milk was jasmine tea. Yung sa restaurant. Legit, no. Yan yung pinapanood sa akin ng bata ako. So anyway, yun. So milk tea, it's not your lechon, it's not your bulalo.
Hmm.
Because the pimples, it's going to be the milk tea, guys. That's what's happening. Other question. Okay, we're getting into scary territory. There are
Okay,
actually
okay.
asking about this. Some are asking because they no longer have their prescription retinol and they
Hmm.
get it from the doctor. Can they use over the counter, like the ordinary as retinols? And other people are
Hmm.
just asking right off the bat, what's a
Hmm.
retinol and can I use it? And how do I use it?
O sige, teka, paano natin siya address? You can try mga over-the-counter products like yung the ordinary na granactive retinoids or retinols. But please, ang request ko is read the instructions properly. Tapos start slow. If it says pea-sized amount, just do pea-sized amount. Huwag kayong sobrang daming ilalagay. And then, if you're going to start on by yourself na over-the-counter retinols, please do not mix it with acids if
Yes.
first time mo siyang gagamitin kasi you risk talagang burning. And then, tip, if you want to start on retinols, you have to be prepared for the adjustment period. That's what I call it, yung commonly known as either purging or breakouts. Kasi it really, most of my patients, they worsen before they get better. So if you break out, tsagain mo lang. Just follow your routine. Tapos don't change your products. On the other hand, if you want, kasi prescription-based products are way more efficient compared to, way more stronger compared dun sa ones available over the counter. That said, they are stronger and in a sense more effective. However, mas malakas din yung adverse effects ng prescribed medication. So that's where your dermatologists come into uh, come what do you call this? They play an important role kasi we will explain to you what you're gonna experience, what are the things that you have to do to avoid the bad side effects, and then also some tips on how to take care of your skin, as well as other products na pwede mong gamitin para i-combine with the regimen. Kasi if you experiment by yourself, you don't
Mm-mm.
know where to start eh. Kung ito ba, what time do I use it? How often should I use it? How do I use it with what other products? So, I would still recommend na consult a board certified derm. So, singit ko lang, PDS institutions, please visit our website, pds.org.ph. There is a list of hospitals there that offer free telederm consultation. So please make use of it kasi sayang. Tapos ang
Or
gagaling ng PDS. Mm-hmm.
okay, guys, I'm putting this on
PDS.
the screen so that you see it's right there on the screen. Please consult there and don't do random things. I'm reading some scary stuff.
Yes.
I'm gonna read who this is, but this scares me. Can
Okay.
you mix lemon juice with
Hmm.
face masks to
Mm-hmm.
address pigmentation. So,
Ah, that's a mm-mm.
yeah.
That's a very, very common misconception. So there's this entity called phytophotodermatitis. So phyto means plant,
Mm-hmm.
dermatitis means some form of like skin reaction or eczema. So when you combine, this is a known plant na ha. So the citrus family, for example, lemon, if you combine it with the sun, nagkakos siya ng pigmentation. So
Got
it will
it.
do the opposite of what you want to do. So no, don't do that.
Is don't put a raw lemon on. Actually, no, like, and
Yes.
I know this from like lab muffin beauty science,
Hmm.
and like not all vitamin C concentrations are actually like you can't just put raw vitamin C on your face, diba? Because it's actually
Hmm.
it hurts.
Irritating.
Oo.
Oo.
So it's that the same logic also with lemon? Like it's a raw vitamin C you on your face and then it's
I think yes. Tama, Frankie. Very, very good illustration. So, you need the vitamin C itself para makuha mo yung effects niya. Kasi if you put the calamansi, the lemon, yung dun ka actually ako, I use it to treat when my patients have hypopigmentation. Ibig sabihin, if their skin becomes lighter, that's what I have them do. I have them put calamansi juice, expose it to the sun to help the skin regain the color. So, wag
oh
niyong
wow,
gagawin yun kasi
not for
magda-darken
lighting.
kayo.
Oh my god.
Yes, yes.
That's scary. This is a really interesting question. Whenever I'm about
Hmm.
to have my period, I get really deep and big pimples. Is this preventable? Is there anything you can do to prevent this?
100% prevention is going to be hard kasi even patients on isotret, they still get I call them period pimples.
Mm.
So, however, tips to reduce them would be, so have your regular anti-acne regimen na consistent use. And then also, if it comes, don't wait for it to be big. You can go to your well, nung hindi pa COVID, you can go to your dermatologist to have pimple shots para mag-flatten agad. Or you can use yung mga over-the-counter like pimple patches, especially favorite ko yung mga hydrocolloid kasi pimples are technically small wounds. So you put the
Mm.
hydrocolloid, you moisturize it, you help it heal faster. So if it's there, that's what you do. Unfortunately, it's hard to prevent it talaga.
So that's why the hydrocolloid bandages work. I didn't know that. So because it's actually a
Hmm.
sugat on your face. I did not know this. That
Yes. Mhm.
explains a lot of my bad decisions were very bad. We're not gonna talk about them, guys. So don't ask about them. But I'm gonna ask a very interesting question from Instagram. Anna Lim says, "What do you think
Hmm.
of portable light and RF machines?" I don't know what that means. I think
Portable
portable.
light and RF machines.
What are portable?
Ah, portable light, wala akong experience on it, but there is some evidence na there's certain light wavelengths that can kill yung QT bacterium.
Mm,
However, um, I have to review. So, but ang problem kasi with the halimbawa, you bought it off from Shopee or from Lazada, you're not
yeah,
sure if it's calibrated. Kasi what if Christmas light lang pala siya na red? So, hindi
that's
natin
also
alam.
true. You don't know. It's just
Oh.
a color.
On the other hand, yung portable radio frequency machines, so ang pathophysiology niyan kasi is you use it to tighten the, for example, problem areas. Kumari, saggy dito na arms, sa may abdomen area. So, kaya siya nagta-tighten kasi the radio frequency, it's supposed to heat up your collagen. So, instead naman parang maluag siya, it becomes tighter.
Mm.
So, for it to work, the radio frequency has to reach the appropriate level. Ibig sabihin, yun doon sa may dermal area mo. So, hindi natin masasabi siya na all-encompassing, all machines will work. Kasi it depends. Hindi mo alam kung standardized siya, pinroduce siya, na-test ba siya, na it will do as it says. So, I will recommend na consult a PDS derm para kung magpapagawa ka ng RF, alam mo na yung machine is meant to do that and will do that.
Mm. Hindi mo alam kasi yung
Mm.
mga binebenta na lang, nag-iingay lang pala, tutugtog lang pala na yun ng K-drama na song.
Oo, yung mga bilog lang
Drama.
na umiikot-ikot na gano'n.
Speaking of which, kasi the person who asked that also asked, like, I know you've actually tweeted about this, like, how do you achieve, and I'd like to maybe bust some myths, is how do you achieve K-drama looking skin? Kasi yung sagot ko lang dun is mag-makeup.
Ah, alam mo kung alam mo kung paano filter. Hindi, kidding aside. So, kasi yung K-drama skin, ano ba muna yung features ng glass skin? So, it has to be blemish-free, dewy, hydrated siya. Hindi siya yung parang dry na dry. Um, the pores are not so visible. So, you need to have objectives para ma-reach mo siya. Kasi pag sinabi mong halimbawa, glowing skin, ano ibig sabihin nun? So, pag binentahan ka ng whatever cream dyan, sabihin glowing skin, hindi mo malalaman if nakuha mo siya kasi wala kang objectives. Whereas if you have the three, no blemish, not so big pores, and then hydrated skin. So, yun yung i-address mo. So, for the blemishes, have your anti-acne, anti-pigment regimen. For the dewy appearance, you need to have your moisturizer. For the pore minimizing, nako, genetics kasi yun. So, if you're born with big pores, you can accept it or you can undergo procedures, for example, like lasers or peels to help manage the pores. However, it can only do so much. So, yun.
I just as somebody like I'm not a derma, but I am a K-pop
Mm,
fan and a K-drama
mm,
fan, K-pop fan. And I will tell you that a lot of the photos you see of them are doctored to a certain extent. That's actually something that a lot of K-drama, like K-pop
mhm.
fans, actually argue. It's called whitewashing, and we get very angry. We're like, why are you like making them look whiter? And if you can
Ah,
get a really good photo of of idol skin, I remember this HQ video from YouTube of Jin,
mm,
my favorite member of BTS. He has
mhm.
acne scars along his cheeks, slight acne.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
they're human. They just wear makeup most of the time because they have to.
Yes.
So
And there's Photoshop.
and there's Photoshop when it's
Yes. Oo.
with makeup. Yeah, ideally, if you're really
Mm,
good at makeup, you can kind of get away with not super photoshopping. But yeah, it's mostly makeup and some Photoshop,
mhm.
guys. Be nice to yourselves, please.
Yes. Tsaka Frankie, alam mo,
Mm,
isingit ko lang, there is this article I read, it says states merong movement. Uso sa kanila yung Snapchat eh. So, patients come in to their dermatologist and then they show the filtered face. Tapos sabi, make me look like my Snapchat picture. However, if you translate it to the real person, parang hindi siya ano eh, hindi siya appealing. Parang maganda siya in 2D. Pero pag
mm-mm.
kunwari, iniklian mo yung jaw, parang yung nose in-adjust mo, hindi siya talaga aesthetically pleasing. Tapos, it's an unfair and hard to attain objective. So, like what you said, be kind to yourself. Kumbaga, those people you see on TV, they have makeup artists all the time, hairstylists,
A lot of makeup.
ha?
A lot of
Oo,
makeup.
and yes. So, hindi siya, I mean, ano tawag dito? Objectively speaking, it's hard to do.
That is, thank you for telling us that because I think that's important for
Oo.
everybody watching because a lot of us, I think, have fallen victim to doing crazy things to our skin
Yes, oo.
because of an image that has been through many digital processing, etc. So,
Yes, oo.
back to the scary question, not the much scary questions, but interesting questions from C. Younglin, who has been prescribed doxycycline,
Mm,
but doesn't know what it is and is wondering if
mm.
it's okay. But it's prescribed by their derma, so I mean, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So first, don't be scared of your derma. So when you're prescribed a medicine, so tas hindi mo sure bakit para saan siya, how long, or hindi mo na naintindihan paano mo siya iti-take, please don't step out of the clinic without asking your derm na, Doktora, para saan po to? Tapos, hindi ko po naintindihan paano ko siya i-take. So, please ask. Kasi sometimes sa amin, ako, for example, ako, gets na gets ko siya. So, i-explain ko, assume ko na na-gets na ng patient ko. So, unfair sa inyo yon if hindi yun naintindihan yung consultation. So, yun lang, side note lang yun. So, si doxycycline, it's a type of antibiotic. However, for acne, we use it for inflammatory lesions. So, gusto ko siya i-prescribe kapag madami ka ng mga red cystic na acne and then you don't want to go to isotretinoin agad-agad. However, um, it has a specific dose, tsaka a specific time frame for you to use it, for it to be effective. Kasi it's not an overnight thing. It's not something you take for 7 days and then wala ka ng acne. Hindi ganun ang acne treatment.
Mhm.
It takes at least 8 to 12 weeks. So if you have hesitations on doxycycline, make sure to ask your derma para ma-help ka niya makapili ng treatment na best for you.
Cool. Thank you so much for
Mm.
telling us that. In line with, so we talked about acne treatments, and you mentioned that some of the best treatments are either an antibiotic prescribed by a dermatologist, or if you really can't get
Mm-mm.
handle that, there are like stuff like colloidal bandages to cover them and let them heal by themselves. So that's acne.
Mhm.
But what about pimples? I guess what you're talking about acne, you're talking about acne vulgaris, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
But what about blackheads and whiteheads? How do we treat blackheads and whiteheads?
Blackheads and whiteheads. So you can also treat them with, they're also treated with yung first line treatments for acne. So for example, benzoyl peroxide, retinoids, combination of antibiotics with benzoyl peroxide or retinoids. However, ito yung fun part sa derma. You can mix and match. So aside from yung prescription-based na medicine, you can also use your AHAs, your BHAs, you can physically remove it. So yung nakikita nyo na tinatawag natin na pricking or extraction, that's manual removal of your blackheads and whiteheads. So
Okay.
yun. Mm-hmm.
And this person, this Fiona Enriquez follows up what's on Instagram with, when I'm using an exfoliant like a facial scrub, how come I get acne the following day?
Mm, anuhin natin yan. So, maraming possibilities. Number one, sige, meron tayong tinatawag na parang bias. So, for example, nag-scrub ka the night before, that's the most immediate thing right before the acne popped out. However, maraming
Oh,
factors. So what are the other factors? Did you start a new facial wash? Did you use a new acid? Did you use a new retinoid? Are you about to have your period? Are you stressed? Are you eating well? So those are all the other things that could cause that single pimple. So hindi kasi ako in my experience, physical exfoliation, hindi siya yung first kong i-consider kapag nagbe-breakout ang patient.
oh, so it's like
Hmm.
you could be thinking, oh, it's the exfoliant that did it, but it could be a bunch of other things that we're looking.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of like facial, okay, speaking of like products, question here
Mm-hmm.
from Jillian Lenuz about this. My favorite pH balanced facial cleanser, which once in my face feels supple and great, suddenly stopped working. Parang nawala yung
Mm-hmm.
effect na I was back to having dull, blah skin. Why does that
Mm-hmm.
happen? Hmm.
Why does that happen? Um, Paano kaya? I doubt naman na nag-change sila ng formulation. A possible explanation could be perhaps yung weather or yung relative humidity. So, for example, you're
Yeah.
staying in a dry area, laging air conditioned, maybe that's why nag-dry yung skin mo. So, maybe you could add a moisturizer or a hydrating serum or toner to help bring back the glow or the, what glow? Hydration of your skin.
Hydration. Yes, because it's more
Mhm.
precise. Actually, that is something
Yes.
that I just wanted to validate because it's something I say online when I tell people when they ask this
Mhm.
question is your skin type can quote unquote change depending on the weather. Like if it's hot and dry,
Yes.
it dries out. If
Mhm.
it's more humid, you get oil. It feels oilier, stuff like that. So that's true. That's that. I'm not lying to them. Yes, I'm not
That is
lying to you.
100%
Speaking
true.
I
As
was
in, kasi there are things kasi, Frankie, na parang when someone else says it, parang, oh nga, no, parang that makes sense. When you said that, ako parang, oh nga, no, I can use that to explain to my patients. Bakit? Yun yung reason exactly why there are winter products, summer products. Well, sa atin kasi rainy, tsaka more
yeah.
rainy lang eh, no? So, but yun, tama ka. I agree 100%.
Tama, you mentioned like it's aircon. Like it's true. Like what if you got a new job
Mm.
or when we could still go to our offices or your
Mm.
house? You went from your
Yes.
office na super ano aircon to your house that doesn't have that crazy an aircon. So maybe your skin type,
Mhm.
but you were dry, yun pala hindi. Yun pala yung aircon ng office mo, yun pala yung reason. Yun, wala akong hugot saan. Wala akong hugot saan.
o,
Our office is
o,
fine.
di ba, Frankie, for example, dry ka kasi di ba nagsiscales yun eh. Dito yung namumuti, yung
Yeah.
parang itchy. Pero dito ang oily-oily mo. So, they're talagang two separate things. You can be oily and dry. So, yun. Important, ano din yun, note to remember.
I am the emoji with the mind blown. Okay, here's an interesting question from Instagram naman. There's so many interesting questions. We will not be able
Okay.
to get to them all, guys. Just letting you know because we have to cap this out of 1 hour because Doc Erin has to eat dinner and rest. It's been a long day. But you can, of course, consult with the you can do a free teleconsultation with the PDS certified derma,
Mhm.
www.pds.org.ph. It's on the screen if you guys can see it. So please consult there. But more questions.
Walang www, just pds.org.ph. Sorry,
Oh,
Frankie.
sorry. Let me edit that banner.
Thank you, thank you.
I was like, oh no, Frankie made a mistake.
No, 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 no. Kaya kahit ako nagkakamali doon.
Wait lang. Kasi ako sanay ako sa triple W dot eh. Ayun.
Mm.
Okay. Ay, hindi.
Yan. Thank
Wala
you.
ka.
Oh.
Yarn. Okay, but this is an interesting one because I see it a
Okay.
lot. People
Hmm.
think that your acne appears in certain areas of your face because it's related to your organs. Is that true at all?
Ah,
Like pag sa
oh
forehead
my
mo,
gosh.
ganito, sa
Pag
dito
forehead
mo,
mo, malaki yung large intestine, ganun.
oo, something like that. And we're like, huh? Okay, is that true?
No.
It's not true,
But
guys.
not true. Wala ko explanation for it. Pero, example, bakit lagi sa forehead? Bakit dito sa may part ng ng cheek? Those are the areas with the highest concentration of your oil glands. So remember, sa pathophysiology ng acne, the oil glands produces the food of your cutibacterium. So kung saan marami kang oil glands, mas yun yung areas na at risk for developing acne. Not
Okay.
because related sa stomach or liver mo.
Yeah, it just might be that you
Mm.
have just more oil glands in one area. I guess because that's yeah,
Yes.
like some people are have more like have oily T zone. I know some people who have oily cheeks.
Yes.
I don't, but I know people who do. So
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Given the cream says on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, given that the skin changes from time to time, is it true, doc, that if you've used a certain product for quite some time, you become resistant to it? This is not an antibiotic product, like a normal skincare product lang.
Normal.
Can you become
Interesting
resistant?
question. Um, sige, let's take time. For example, mm, I would like to say no, hindi ka magde-develop ng resistance. So, bigay tayo na examples. For example, moisturizer.
Yeah.
The purpose of the moisturizer is to bring moisture to your skin. So, I don't think dadating yung time na itutulak ng skin mo away yung effect ng moisturizer. On the other hand, for example, sunscreen. So, will always do its job of protecting your skin as long as you put it in the adequate amount and then evenly on the entire face. On the other hand, how about acids? Acids work by um, making the skin cells separate from each other. So even if you use it forever, it will still do its job. Siguro ang namimili nila mga washes. Sa experience ko, for example, meron ng favorite wash before nakakatanggal ng oil. Nagkakaroon nga ng, paano ba yun? Your skin learns to tolerate it. Wala akong
Mhm.
explanation eh, pero I experience it sa cleansers.
Yeah, I think
Mm.
I've also experienced the same thing where it feels like your skin just learns to produce more oil.
Mm.
So it doesn't
Oo,
need
parang
to wash off.
nagko-compensate.
So I feel like this is why I double cleanse. This is why I'm like,
Ah.
okay, I oil cleanse and I water cleanse so that it's like, aha, ha 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 ha.
Ita-try ko pa yun. Gusto ko i-try yun. Yung double
Yeah,
cleanse. I just use, ang micellar ba
yeah,
considered
you
as
can use
double
that. You can use that.
cleansing?
You can use that. You can use basta yung double cleanse is like you clean it with something before you wash it. So
Ah,
you
I
can use
see, I see.
micellar, you can use oil. I
O,
don't know
kita
about
mo? May
Pimple. My
natutunan
people
ako.
are like
Oh.
about that. This is
Oh,
formulated. This is stuff I learned from
I learned
formulating.
something new. Oh.
I'm bothered and I'm going to cry. No, this is interesting. Okay. This is from
Okay.
MT Salve. How do I distinguish
Hmm.
purging and irritation?
Sorry.
How do I distinguish purging and
From
irritation?
irritation.
Yeah.
O sige. Um, there is no definition of it sa derm books. Well, yung derm book na binasa ko 3 years ago. And then sa PubMed, ang problem kasi they don't do studies on halimbawa yung mga terms. But again, Beauty Lab Muffin, so Lab Muffin Beauty Science,
Yes.
she differentiated the two saying that purging is your skin adjusting to the new product. Okay, pause natin yun. On the other hand, breakouts is your skin really not liking the product. And even if you use the product for n number of months, hindi siya mag-go away. So, explain natin yung purging side of things. So, in in starting retinoid use, I always tell my patients there will be an adjustment or purging period. This means that during the first month of using your retinoids, you are expected to have more breakouts, you have more pimples. Bakit? Kasi the retinoid, it speeds up your skin's turnover. So, halimbawa, whatever pimples that are brewing underneath, kukunin na yung lahat ni retinoid. And then after it gets everything, it stabilizes, and then your skin now feels the benefits of using the retinoid. So after a while, usually in time frame 4 to 6 weeks, the purging goes away. On the other hand, breakouts, ito yung inexplain ni Lab Muffin na irritation talaga na your skin will never adjust to it. So you will just have more and more and more and more and more breakouts and more pimples, even if you keep using the product. So
Oh,
yun.
that's an
Yun.
interesting
Nag-make ba
question.
ng sense? Oo.
That did.
Yun.
That
Pero,
made a lot of sense.
oo. Pero for me, I mean, sa akin semantics lang siya. So, halimbawa, stinart ko yung patient ng retinoids. Sabi ko, pwede ka mag-breakout. Yun po ba yung purging, doktora? Oo, yun yung purging. On the other hand, pag sinabi ko, you will purge. Sasabihin ng patient, yun po ba yung breakouts, doktora? Oo, yun. So, same thing. As long as they understand that it will go away. On the other hand, sabihin ng patients, I've been using this green cream, whatever. Di ba uso sa atin yan, yung mga maliliit na kung ano-anong nakalagay. Doctor, I've been using this Wonder Cream, kung ano man yun. And then I've been having pimples. How long mo na siyang ginagamit? 1 year na. So most likely it's yun yung bad reaction to that product,
I
which is
see.
yung breakouts.
That makes a lot of
But
sense.
don't get stressed about the proper term. Ang important is kung may acne ka, have yourself checked by a dermatologist and then mabibigyan ka ng proper product. Kasi you can misdiagnose. There are things that look so similar to acne, but it's not acne. So, for example, rosacea. And then the more you put products on rosacea, the more you will get irritated. So, isipin mo, shucks, I'm breaking out. But sa totoo, it's just untreated rosacea. So, yun.
This is why, guys, there's so many people here that are literally saying, like, "Oi, how do I treat acne, blah, blah, blah." And the answer is going to be, if
Mhm.
it's really bad, see a doctor. There's a free
Yeah.
teleconsult right there, corner of the screen.
Yes.
Guys. It's free. That's why we're not reading all of your questions. They're all the same. They're all like, how can I treat my acne? Can I treat my acne with this?
Mm.
Like, ask a doctor, please. Don't ask the internet. Ask a doctor, please. Because
Yes,
I
listen to Frankie.
2 seconds. I did stupid things to my face when I had acne, and now I have a dark spot where it's
Oh
left behind.
no.
Which is because sun damage. Because I didn't know I used something. It's made me photosensitive. I didn't know I was photosensitive. I walked around with no sunscreen on
Mm.
my face. Boom. I have a weird, not really a
Ah,
mole, but it's a mole, but not a
here?
mole under my
Sa may
under my
cheek
eye.
doon? I
Yeah, under
see.
my eye. And that's because of things I did to myself without asking a doctor. So don't be silly. Okay, this one is tied to something that you just posted about, but I found it interesting, so I'm gonna ask it. There are two people
Mm.
who ask these kinds of questions: Mary Jasmine Villaforte and Pami Santos. Connected yung questions eh. So Mary Jasmine
Mm.
says, you mentioned manual removal for blackheads, and are pore
Mm-hmm.
strips useful for that? Whereas Pami
Mm-hmm.
answers, the esthetician said that the blackheads on my nose are actually little tiny hairs, so they can't extract them. Is
Yes.
that true? You actually talked about pore strips, so tell us all the
Yun.
secrets.
So, dun sa, i-recap natin siya. So, people commonly call the things on your nose as blackheads. Pero more often than not, those things are yung what they call sa internet na sebaceous filaments, or yung official term for it is trichostasis spinulosa. So, basically, do you remember the pore drawing? Oh my gosh, ang gnarly na niya. So, if, if this is the pore on
Yes.
your hair, on the nose, it will have these little tiny baby hairs inside na trap. And then the
Hmm.
baby hairs, it traps all the oil inside. Yung ang pangit ang drawing ko. Tapos yan mag-oxidize. This becomes the black stuff you see on the nose. So the
Oh,
pore strippers, what it does, when you put it here on top, diba, you put the cream, either the cream or the parang paper thing, and
yeah.
then it becomes super hard. Na parang, think of it, parang na-cement
Waxing.
yung tips ng hairs. So when you remove it, matatanggal to, itong
It's like
entire
waxing
thing.
your face.
Yes,
Bikini
yun. So,
wax for your face. Hmm.
yun. So, focal siya. And then, in terms of blackheads, yung talagang definition blackheads, mahihirapan kang tanggalin yon using the pore strippers. Kasi even with manual extraction, it's very difficult. Kasi yung blackheads, think of it as parang literal na nakaglue siya dun sa loob ng pore. So you need to either treat first with retinoids or acids at the top para, kumbaga, itong part na to, di ba sa pore, itong part na to, kung ganyan siya kakapal, kasi blackhead, blackhead is open, so whitehead na muna. So kung ganyan kakapal, if you use yung retinoids mo or acids, you thin this out. So when you
Mm.
go to your derma to have this extracted, it's easier, kumbaga.
Mm. Okay.
Yun.
Wow. We are down to
Mm-mm.
our last 5 minutes. I'm so
That
sad.
was so fast.
I
Oh
know
my
we've
gosh.
been online for 54, so we're like 6 minutes. 6 minutes. I think the last question we wanna kind of he my ear is because a lot of you guys are asking questions about retinoids, retinols, etc. What do they do, etc. So maybe you can explain to us what those do and how they can help with acne. Retinoids and retinols. I know those are two different things. So
Mhm.
yeah, can you explain that to us and
So
what can we expect if we use them? Because I've
So,
used
for
them.
example,
That's not
oh, retinols, they are vitamin A derivatives. So, retinols would be yung milder form, whereas yung
bad.
retinoids, yun yung prescription-based. And then under the retinoids, you would have yung more popular is the tretinoin, the adapalene, and then you would have the azarothine. So, mas familiar ako dun sa tretinoin and adapalene. So, we'll go to that. Adapalene is the gentler cousin of tretinoin. So ako, I prefer to use that because it has less, or we will experience less of the adverse effects. So ano yung adverse effects with retinoid use? During the first 4 weeks, yun. So you can have the purging slash breakouts with use kasi nga, it increases the epithelial turnover. So balik tayo sa pore. So if you have, ang, yeah. So if you have the hyperkeratosis, this means the thickening over the pore. Diba, you remember this is one of the steps in developing pimples. What retinoids do is they thin out ba? Kumbaga, it normalizes, it regulates the hyperkeratosis over the pore. So mababawasan yung one step niya. So that's one step away from the acne process. And then another thing, studies have shown that the retinoid, it's an anti-inflammatory. This means in case your pore explodes and then the cutibacterium, everyone else goes into the dermis, the retinoids, it prevents or minimizes the inflammation. So yun yung mga, it will help minimize the cystic acne, the inflamed acne, the pustules. And then another thing, the oral retinoid, which is isotretinoin, it's the only one that can decrease oil production. So you take it for yung may severe acne. So, dun mo ma-feel na magda-dry yung face mo, magda-dry yung lips mo. For the topical ones, you will experience yung scaling or the dryness. And then, some will also experience yung mild irritation like stinging. But you can overcome that if you use moisturizers. Tapos, eventually naman you get used to it. Eh. So, yun, that's how retinoids treat acne. So, sa ngayon, problem kasi, there is no single drug that will target all four components of acne production. Diba? Remember, plugging of the pore, production of excess oil, proliferation of the cutibacterium, and then inflammation of the dermis. So, we have different drugs to address those different processes. That's why, hindi lang isang gamot yung nape-prescribe ng derma. But sinastagger namin siya. For example, if you just have blackheads and whiteheads, we can just use retinoids. But if you have blackheads, whiteheads, and inflammatory lesions, we'll use retinoids, we'll use antibiotics, we'll use acids. So it depends kung ano ang gagamitin mo. Depends on your skin condition.
Okay. I hope that
Mhm.
answered all your questions. We are down to our last 2 minutes, so I think we're gonna have to close it
Ah,
out here. There are so many people. They're like, part two, please, round two. We will try to find
nasistress
one.
ako sa tanong.
Ay, huwag kang ma-stress. People wanna hear
Ang
more.
tatalino ninyo magtanong eh.
Well, ang talino mo sumagot. So,
No!
the intelligence we get. If you guys want to learn more, honestly, please follow the Nerdy Derma on literally
Thank you
everywhere.
so much.
Because I learn so much every day, and I'm really enjoying that she's also doing a series where she digs deep into ingredients that you can find in your drugstores. So she will talk about what works and what doesn't. I'm really excited. We should send you products also, doctor, so that you can actually give your honest opinion on them. Let's do it. We'll send some to you. Because ingredient stuff is important.
Yes, yes,
Ingredients.
active ingredients.
Yeah. So we will announce. So is your Instagram cut off already because our Instagram hates us?
Mhm.
It's okay. We will announce the winners. So to announce the winners of our giveaway, um,
Wow.
our winners who win talaga. Ano mga winners kayo on Instagram? It's Anna Riza Lim, and on Facebook it's MJ Salve. You guys have
Oy,
won
congrats.
the giveaway. Congratulations! And of course, wala
Congratulations.
pa yung giveaway, okay lang yun kasi naka-sale ang Ellana right now until August 1. Ang daming on sale. Specifically, our skincare stuff. This is not a plug that the Nerdy Derma endorses. I'm just going to mention it because she mentioned vitamin C and niacinamide. Those are two very strong. Those are two ingredients that are very, very present in the stuff that's on sale on our website right now, which is our Safer Setting Spray and our Flower Power, which is why I use it as skincare kasi niacinamide yun. Ginagamit ko sa acne. Um, we will have doctor check it. So if you want to find out, generally, if you want to get good medical advice, though, don't worry if you're not a winner because you still win with your skin. You can go to pds.org.ph to find
.ph.
derma.ph. Yeah, pds.org.ph. Please go there. Don't do stupid things to your face. Please, I'm praying. No more. Be nice to your faces. And that most of
Sunscreen
all,
moisturizer.
yes. Everything she says, please follow. Everything. Thank you so much, Doc Erin, for doing this. I
Thank
really
you, Frankie. Thank you, Ellana Minerals. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
all right. Thank you guys so much. We'll end it here so Doc Erin can go eat. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, everybody. Bye!
Bye!